How do I take a stand in the world? Right? So anytime you have an opportunity to stand up, stand up. You're going to show up. At a dinner party, when you're making a toast, stand up. Right at your fraternity, when you guys are talking, your turn to talk, stand up. What we're doing is we're conditioning the body to see what it's like to be in this presence. I want you guys to look at each other. What do you guys see? Do we see leaders in the room?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can see just by standing up, it makes a difference. Right? If you're sitting down, guess what? Your body tends to kind of go into that couch potato type mode, right? It wants to relax. And then your focus goes away. Right? And then even your language gets laxed. When you're standing up, people are looking at you, guess what? Your focus has to be really clear. You're going to be in trouble, aren't you? Your language has to be crisp. You're going to run into problems. Right? So, in the standing here, I recently, over the past 2 years, I went through several Tony Robbins events. As a matter of fact, he's coming into town on July in San Jose. Who knows who Tony Robbins is? You know? Tony Robbins is quote-unquote a motivational speaker, but he's really all about transformation. He had some of the workshops, he actually works with people that are suicidal. He says, who's suicidal in the room? 2,500 people in the room. He says, there's got to be 7 or 8. He gets people to stand up, and he works them through that suicide, the whole conversation, to the point where they're transformed. They don't have those stories anymore. It's amazing work that he does. But part of the work that he does is to bring energy into the world. If you ever watch him, and he wants you to Google him, watch some of his workshop. He brings this really high energy. So the workshop that's coming, or the 4-day conference that's coming in July, is called the Walk on Fire. So he has 6,000 people show up, and you have coals that are 20 feet long, hot, burning coals, with bare feet, and you walk across that. All 6,000 people do this. A few people chicken out. But it's like, wow. The reason he does this, and he does this on the first conference, he shows that you have the capacity in your body to do that. And if you can do that, guess what? You can do anything. If I can face that biggest fear that I'm going to die as I walk across, I'm going to burn the shit out of my feet. If I can't overcome that fear, I'll never take that. But once I do overcome that, guess what? Everything else is simple. So his workshops are amazing. Right? If you're into that kind of stuff. Not everybody's into that. But if you're into it, I would recommend you going. You can probably get a student rate, probably $300, $400, $500. So one of the things he talks about, though, is bringing energy. Right? How do you create big energy? So I've asked you guys to stand up. You guys are getting a little fidgety. He's like, oh, I'm kind of tired. Can I sit down yet, Steve? Come on! But I'm going to ask you to take your energy to another level. Part of leadership is when all things get going tough, guess what? You got to stand up a little more. You got to bring a little more energy. So I want you guys in your place right now, I want you to show me how you bring more energy into your body. Just create a state that you feel better, stronger, more invincible. Just do what you need to do. Come on, create it.
He's ready.
So, you see what happens? It's like you guys don't have this other level. Why not? Any answers? Are you feeling more energized now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little? Is your body, like, ready to fight? Little? Okay, I want to take it to another level. Get pumped up. Start moving the body. Let's see. Let's move it up. You guys are triathletes. Jump. Get pumped up. That's right. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out. Okay, now stand here. Stand as a leader in the world. What does it feel like? Are you streaming a little? He's streaming. You want to feel big. Right? You see how he's standing taller too. So there's cobwebs. This is called cobwebs that build up on our system. Right? And the longer we stay there, the longer they start to take hold. And next thing you know, we're just like, ugh. Right? You got to be able to shake it out. You got to, at the moment, be able to change your state. So I'm going to ask you to go one more time. And this time I want you to get crazy. And I want you to use other people to get crazy. One of the things is, I can only take my energy to a certain level. You and I, come on, let's do it. We can do this. Come on. We in his face, he's in my face, we can do that. I want to hear some energy in the room. Let's do it. On 3, 1, 2, 3, go!
Chest bump.
Okay.
Looks like a hop jump.
What's the feeling in the room right now?
More energy.
More energy.
Beat up Luke right now.
Good. So this is a man's space, right? When you guys are feeling down and you're not right there, go out and mess around with men. Go and, let's go, not fight, but go and, play sports, wrestle, do whatever it takes to get back to that state where it's just flowing. You guys owe that to yourselves to be in this peak state all the time. A peak state allows you to think clearly when, holy crap, I'm feeling overwhelmed by all these things in my life. Right? Like, there's another deadline. Get with another guy and say, help me get in the state that I'm going to be able to kick ass on these things. You are all capable of doing it. You're top players in the world. You're already at the cream. But there's always another level. And that's the place that you guys have to start to think about. What is my next level? You haven't made it yet. You have another 30 years. Right? But just imagine what you guys can do in 30 years. If you're at that peak state, you're bringing your full body, your full capacity. You're leading people. Now the piece that's important to remember about this, when you start to engage other people and bringing energy out like you guys did as a fraternity here, right? Guess what you have to do when you're leading teams? Didn't we hear kind of dysfunction, or you said you had a challenge around, motivating people? Maybe your energy isn't there that they don't have to rise up in any way, shape, or form. You bring a higher energy, it's like, shit, I got to step up, or he's going to leave me behind. Men don't want to be left behind. If he's going in battle, I'm going in him. Men are extremely loyal. If you get the loyalty of a man, even though you make a mistake, the man will be there to protect you. I know you made a mistake, but let's kick their ass. We can do this. Right? Women, on the other hand, they're not as loyal. That's just the way they are. It's a design. Right? They don't want to attach to their own thing. We're men, no. We're here to take care of each other. And there's some fundamental reasons for that. We'll go into that in a little bit. So as a leader, to bring big energy into the world allows you then to engage with others. And by the way, they can't get to that big energy without you. As you guys saw, at first it was like, okay, yeah, I'm streaming, yeah, I'm doing good, Steve. Right? And then it's like, okay. And then it's like, yeah! Right? And it was like, we're connecting. You can always take it to another level with somebody else. That's why concerts, that's why, they get paid dollars for concerts and sporting events. Because it's a group of people that rise the energy to a level you'll never have on your couch. Never. Right? So as a leader, you can create that space and people will follow that. They want to be in their bigness. They want to feel like you guys feel right now. Alive. That make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the first part of leadership presence. It's to bring energy to anything and everything you do. The second part is to bring a commitment. We talked about a commitment earlier. Right? But there's a commitment to your life. Commitment to showing up big in the world. Good. A commitment. Right? So what is it to make a commitment? A commitment, when I'm listening to people, and again, I mostly work with people that are much older than me. Typically the commitment has to do with, I'm going to die if I don't make a change. I'm going to die if I don't make a change. When I was burning out in the corporate world, it's like, I'm killing myself driving this place every day. What am I doing? I was using those kind of words. Right? Sometimes the commitment that we have to have is that kind of commitment. When you guys get clear on really what you're about in the world, you have to instill that kind of commitment. This is what I'm all about. And I'm burning the boats. You know what the story is, burning the boats? The natives go to the other island to take the other island. They're on the shore. They're about ready to battle, and they look back and the boats are burning. They look to their captain and they say, what happened? He says, you don't have a choice. You either win or you die. I burned the boats. Right? That's the kind of commitment we're talking about as a leader. Because when people want to follow you, you bring that energy, and then you start stepping, and you're kind of like, I don't know if we're going to go there. They'll go, what? It's like I step there and I'm there. And I'm willing to sacrifice what's behind me. This is one of the virtues of a man. We're singularly focused. Remember that. We're singularly focused. And when we're singularly focused, that means that when we put our energy someplace, there's nothing that's going to distract us. Right? Just want to make sure that commitment is in the right direction. Yeah. So, feedback on that. Anything? Who's got a commitment in the world that they're owning in that way?
Commitments, and I think
I definitely want to do something big with my life, and I know it's going to be a startup. So
yeah.
I went on Angel List and I applied to like 40 startups, so it'll last like 2 months, because I know that's what I want to do.
Nice.
So I did.
And if that doesn't happen, what's going to happen?
I don't know, I'll take it one day at a time.
So give me another word. Give me a commitment like burning the boats. If that doesn't happen,
Just keep going, keep applying tomorrow.
no, you say, fuck you, it's going to happen. You see what I'm saying? I open the door for you. And that's the piece. It's like, do I want to join with him in this? Like, wow, is he really committed to this? I say, so what if it doesn't happen? I open the door to, like, I don't know if I want to follow him. And he says, fuck you, I'm going to make this happen. It's like, right? And then if he has the body and the energy, like, yeah, I'm doing 40, and that's a lot of energy in the midst of a workload of what you guys are dealing with here. He's going for it. So his actions are there, just need to crisp it up a little bit more. So what happens if it doesn't happen? Fuck you. That's right! Look, good year! Burning the boat. Right? I ain't turning back. I'm going to make this happen. This is this important to me. Right? And if you connect it to a passion, then the fuel's always there for you. Yeah? Good job. You all right with that?
Yeah.
That's what you were thinking, right? But see, he was thinking that, and that's what, men are like, yes. But at the same time, we're in front of our peers, we've got to be politically correct. It's like, really? You go talk to those 40 CEOs of those startups, there's no question about whether they're going to make it happen. None. Or else they wouldn't have the money. The VCs are listening this way, yeah. Good. So that's the second piece, commitment. So we bring energy, right? We bring the commitment, right? And the third is our language. And I just worked with him on the language. Right? So what do I mean by language? What do you guys know about language? What is language, by the way? Give me some feedback.
method of communication.
Good. When I say the word pen, is this what this is?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why not?
What is this?
Piece of metal.
Okay, so now he's saying it's a piece of metal. Right? So language allows us, if we share the same language, and again, sometimes we're confused about sharing the same language, because I was raised differently than each one of you were raised. And so when I put a word out there, it could mean something completely different. When I grew up, this was actually a drumstick because I was too poor. So when you call this a pen, no, I call it a drumstick. Why? What? We have a disconnect. What's wrong with us? So if you, both you and I assume, or both, if you assume that when I hold this up, you say it's a pen, and this wasn't a drumstick for me, by the way. You know what I mean by drumstick? You know?
Yeah.
So, it is a drumstick, right? So, when we think about language, we have to realize that language is just an invention of the humankind. Doesn't matter what race or what nationality or what dialect. It's just an invention. I mean, it's not real. So if we move through the world like that, the language that we use is real, we're going to run into problems. Because if you declare this as a pen, and I'm going to come after you, if you declare this as a pen, is it a pen? Say it's a pen?
It's a pen.
Okay, and I do this. What just happened?
It's a weapon.
But what happened to him?
Died.
He died. He died. God, he's going to ride on my neck, maybe. Oh, that's kind of cool. I've seen people do stenciling on their neck with pins before. He's in that story as it slices in and kills. Oh.
kidding.
Let's try.
So that's the piece, is that when we live in the world, like someone's words out of their mouth are truth, like fact, like real, we run into a lot of problems. So when someone puts a word out in the world, the best thing to do is like, oh, I'm curious. Usually when I see something like that, I think it's a pin. Is that what you mean by that? You go, well, what's a pin? It's usually the domain of action that it's in. You guys saw that Bourne movie, right? The Bourne Identity movie? Bourne.
Oh, yes.
And he has that pin fight
Oh, yeah.
in the upstairs suite of some, oh, it's great. But he's the one that, you know, changes the interpretation of the pin. And he looks for openings like, how do I create? You've seen him use phone books and all kinds of crazy stuff, right, to battle. Everything becomes a weapon because that's how he views the world, right? He's not fixed. So when we talk about leadership presence, we want to be able to articulate our words in a very effective way that create new realities for people. Right? When I say reality, it doesn't mean it's real. It's like, this is where we're going. But guess what? As a CEO of a company, there's nothing out there anyhow. This is what I anticipate. This is what I see. And my languaging around that allow others, through back and forth dialogue, like we get clear on that's what that language means, to align with us so we can step forward and bring that big energy and that commitment to make it happen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we have to always be checking our language. Right? Become an observer of language. Like, who's using language that empowers people? If you go to Tony Robbins, you'll hear all that. Or who's using languages that takes people down? God, today's kind of it's too hot. What the hell? California's, who said? Someone's from New York? It's not humid enough. This place sucks. But listen to people's language and you'll start to see how their world's put together. And you as a leader then can start to move into the world and shift them because it's not fixed. So if someone's taking a really hard stand, you always have an option to move them. Create a new story for them. Yeah?
Yeah.
How you guys doing on your feet? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Woo! So, three things to be a leadership presence that I just opened up for you. Number one, what?
Energy?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Energy. Bring energy. And you guys have the capacity to get to another level. To get to the highest level of energy, what do you need to do?
Burn the commitment of engage.
Hey, what was that?
Engage with other men or
With other people. You know, when we engage, it's like there's more energy, right? You felt my energy when I it's like, yeah, baby.
yeah, some energy work.
Right? So that's one. Leadership presence. You gotta be able to manifest that energy and manifest it in a big way. Second, what is it?
Burn the boats.
The
Commitment.
boats. Yeah.
Commitment. Commitment. What did I say about the languaging around that? So I'm gonna die if I don't make this happen. Right? Burn the boats is an easy way to express that. And the third?
Control of language.
Language. Look at our language. What are we producing with our words? Right? So I had you guys language your challenges. Right? My social life, you know, my priorities, I'm not focused, delegation. Like those are words that, from your point of view, revealed your space. Right? But is that really your space? Truly. Could you shift that? Bring a different energy to that conversation? Connect with someone else and say, you know, I'm kind of struggling. Can you slap me around a little? I need to get pumped up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slap you around. We're the new fraternity, the slap around fraternity. Come in.
Monday's just energy.
Wake up.
You know what it is, we develop.
Okay, guys.
A militant army.
All right, so let's have a sit.
The hand of God. I don't want to sit now. The trip gets it back.
Anybody want water? Anybody need some water?
Okay.
At some point.
The camera's overheating right now, so.